Hi, and welcome to Disctv, the show that brings you the world of disc golf. I'm Brian Sullivan, and this week we're in America's Dairyland, specifically Appleton, Wisconsin, for the 2002 Fox Valley Open. This is a beautiful but deuce-or-die course, and some exciting disc golf is coming your way. So don't go anywhere. Disctv is on the air right now. Also this week, we'll talk with U.S. National Disc Golf Champion and World Games gold medalist Barry Schultz about his winning ways. It's all about disc golf. This is Disctv.
Good. Pause.
Disctv is brought to you in part by the Professional Disc Golf Association, guiding disc golf into the future, and by Disclife.com, the world leader in disc golf. Hello and welcome to Disctv's coverage of the 2002 Fox Valley Open Disc Golf Tournament from family-friendly Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm Brian Sullivan. With me is Tournament Director Terry Miller. Terry, first off, let's talk about the format and the course conditions this weekend.
First of all, the format. We're going to have 27 holes tomorrow morning. We're going to follow that up with a shortened 18 holes on the original Apple Creek 18, and then we're going to have a final 9 after that.
Now, two of the favored local players have got to be Barry Schultz and Aaron Wildchild Wild. How are their playing styles going to work at this course?
Well, for most of the top pros around here, they're going to have no problems getting to most of the holes. The average hole length is around 275 to 300 feet, but again, most of them will be able to get to it. It's going to come down putting in the wind. That's really what's going to be the deciding factor here.
For these top pros, a good round in 27 holes, what are you looking for?
I wouldn't be surprised if Barry or Aaron is shooting well. They could easily come in with a 20 under.
Could be a lot of deuces for these players this weekend. Terry, thanks. We'll talk to you later. Right now, let's take you out to the action. Welcome to America's Dairyland. It's spring in Appleton, Wisconsin, and the landscape is quickly transforming into the deep green shades of another beautiful Midwest summer. Appleton is the sort of place where you might like to raise a family, and the sort of place where you might like to play some disc golf. Ploughman Park is in great condition this weekend. Winds are light, temperatures are in the 60s, and the players have come ready for deuces. In the women's division, it was a battle between Amy Betro, Sue Leonard, Jana Hughes, and Raquel Cramlett, four Wisconsin disc golfers who are all familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents. But understanding your opponents doesn't always translate into winning disc golf. After all, you still have to sink a few more putts than everyone else. As the final holes wrapped up, Raquel Cramlett was coasting on an 8-stroke lead. She would go on to take the women's title at the Fox Valley Open. Now, if you thought your local disc golf course was busy, try squeezing in a round at Ploughman Park on a nice day. This course was wall-to-wall players, even outside of the tournament rounds. And if I could putt like this young guy, well, I'd win a lot more tournaments, that's for sure. That kid doesn't miss. It was a hot contest in the advanced division. Larry Kempen crushed in the first round, shooting a 14 under par 67 to take a commanding lead. But it was Don Martin's time to shine in round 2, when he threw 8 under par to tie for the lead. A playoff would determine the winner, and it was Martin hitting the deuce on hole number 2 to take the advanced title and a shiny new trophy for his mantle. Now to the Open Division, where the big boys play. Local Appleton pro Brian Bayman knows this course and knows it well. Bayman was bagging deuces left and right, and it was clear he knew which holes to run and which ones to lay up for a safe 3. As a result, Brian Bayman was consistently near the top of the leaderboard throughout each round of the Fox Valley Open, ensuring his entry into the showdown final 9. Charlotte's Billy Crump was finding his way to the basket with a barrage of tomahawk shots. After all, it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you've got a putt. Crump kept his short game together and sank enough putts to stay within striking distance of the leaders with shots just like this one. Going in the favorite, current U.S. Disc Golf National Champion Barry Schultz tossed his way through a strong first round, turning in a 15 under par performance. By the second round, Schultz's normally flawless mental game began to frazzle until he finally lost his cool and whipped a 5-foot putt at around 50 miles an hour. Just like that. And with the bounce out, that little stunt would cost Schultz an extra stroke. Meanwhile, Raleigh's Brian Schweberger could not be stopped. Schweberger was feeling right at home at Ploughman Park, spanking the entire field with a round-leading 18 under par first round. The guy was bogey-free with no end in sight. Keep your eyes on Brian Schweberger. He's on tour full-time now and clearly getting all the practice he needs to throw like a champion. The second round belonged to the Wild Child. 19-year-old Aaron Wild of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, has been slamming the door on more experienced disc golfers since 1999, when at age 16, he showed up at his first Pro World Championships and blew away a couple hundred pros with a 7th place finish. The Wild Child can throw a country mile and consistently sinks putts from 35 feet or more. This weekend, Wild found his groove in the second round, carding 14 under par to give Aaron Wild a 1-stroke lead over Brian Schweberger. It's time now to play some of the holes that the pros are going to be throwing this weekend. We're at Ploughman Park in Appleton, Wisconsin, and to show us around is Tournament Director Terry Miller. Terry, thanks for having us
Hey,
out.
no problem. Glad you guys could join us.
And we're on hole 13. This is the Ploughman Park signature hole. Tell us about what's going on out here.
As you can see here, it's pretty much a straight ahead shot. We do have a rolling hill, and then on the right-hand side, we have a little bit of rough, and then behind the basket we have some rough, and then off to the left, even more rough. So you pretty much want to go straight ahead.
Terry, if I get hung up over here on the right side and I get into this shul over here, how tough of an out am I going to have?
If you shank it in there pretty bad, you're going to have a tough out. Most of the time when people put it in there, you're actually looking at losing a disc.
Now, another big consideration on 13 here is the wind. The wind is about 5 to 10 miles an hour coming left to right. What do you recommend? How should we play this hole in order to compensate for that and stay out of the nastiness on the right?
The natural right-hand route would be to take a low hyzer at it. You're going to want to do that with something stable today because of the wind. So I would suggest going a little bit straight at it or with a slight hyzer.
Let's give it a whack.
All right, let's do it.
Come out. Come on out. Oh. That's gone. Bye-bye. Terry, tell me a little bit about the history of the course.
It was installed back in early 90s. It's an original 18 holes, and then after that they added 9 holes, which we now call the MetaView 9.
And the baskets, what type of baskets were you using?
It is a full set of permanent 27 holes, and they also do have some NT pads as well.
Man, I really like the looks of this place. It's gorgeous.
It's an absolutely beautiful park. It gets used every day. There's usually at least a 5-some or a 6-some on almost every hole whenever you come out here.
I find so many courses are getting that way.
Yeah.
I can see what you mean, Terry, about staying out of this business over here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff on the right-hand side here you want to stay out of.
All right, looks like I'm in business for a possible 2. Nope. You had the D, Terry.
Yeah, but that left to right wind still pushed me to the right.
Ooh. And a pair of threes it is.
Yep,
Terry, thanks for showing us around.
no problem.
It's Ploughman Park in Appleton, Wisconsin. If you're looking for directions or more information, go to the PDGA online course directory at pdga.com. This is the part of the show where we sit down and we talk with some of the people who are really making a difference out there in the world of disc golf. And we're very lucky this week to have with us Barry Schultz. Barry, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ryan.
Now, Barry has the distinction among many others of being one of the first 2 Americans to ever win a medal in disc golf. Barry, you were chosen along with Juliana Bauer to represent the United States at the World Games in Akita, Japan last year in 2001. Now, this was the first time disc golf had been included in the World Games. It must have been a huge honor for you.
It was incredible. Ever since we heard rumors about disc golf and just Frisbee games in general getting to Akita in the World Games, we were all really excited about it. You know, when it first came out in the magazine, I'd have to say 2.5 years ago or something like that. We always dreamed, you know, who's going to get there, who's going to go? Of course, Kenny. Of course, Kenny. Of course, Kenny. But you always think it could be me. It could be me. And it was, you know, great when I got the news. And it was better. You know, you always think about what it could be, what the Olympic experience is going to be like. But it was even better than what I even thought it was going to be like. I mean, the people in Japan went all out for this. You could tell they were so extremely excited to have everybody there. And disc golf went out basically without a flaw. The course was extremely challenging, difficult. Everybody played really well. They really treated us like, you know, professional athletes. You know, it was great, really great experience.
2001 was a huge year for you. Not only were you a gold medalist at the World Games, you also were the U.S. disc golf champion. Now, it came down to the last round. It was you and Ken Climo, neck and neck. I believe at one point you were tied up. Tell me about going through the home stretch, those last holes.
Well, I played so well earlier in the week. I had a couple strokes on them, and the course is so brutal that, you know, you lapse for 1 shot or 2 shots, and you never know, you know, a 6 or a 7 or 8. At any time, you know, anything can happen. And we were tied, and we came up to the triple Mando hole, which some people loved and some people hated, and Kenny was of the last variety. And I think he just kind of talked himself into not performing on that shot, and he missed it, and that was basically it. I had 3 strokes after that hole, and, you know, we both played great down the stretch, so it was pretty exciting.
You have played time and time again against Ken Climo. What does it take to beat him? Does he have to beat himself, or do you have a strategy specifically for the Climo game?
I don't really change my game, my attitude, depending on who's there for a tournament or not. You just got to play your best, and I think that the disc golfers around Kenny have gotten better, and they're playing at their best more often. That Kenny can't win with his B or C or D game like he used to, you know. So I think he realizes that everybody else is getting better. He doesn't have the time to spend that he used to. You know, 10 years is a long time to be, you know, top of the sport. He spends more time with Keegan. You know, he does other things now. So, you know, he's not quite where he was probably 5 years ago. But as we know, every week there's a new winner on the Super Tour. And what does that mean? That means there's more and more people out there playing. And it's just a matter of getting the time to play for at least all these guys that are coming up now. You know, it's a matter of who's on for that weekend. You know, it's not just play your game and hope to win. You know, you got to play your best every week out there. You don't stand a chance.
How far, if someone wants to move up into the pro ranks of the disc golf tour, how far do you have to throw to be able to compete? Because there's so much emphasis on distance. When in fact, do you really have to be able to throw that far?
No, you don't. No, it makes it easier. Or you can be off your game a little bit if you can throw far and still score well. But as Dr. Rick proves, as some of these other guys prove, that can only throw the 350, 375. They can still compete just fine. They just have to make sure that they're up game and their deuces, you know, on the short holes, that they have to get them. They don't have much room for error. But I think just like a lot of the longer courses now are set up for the 350 to 400 foot throw. You don't have to throw that long range anymore to be able to do well, but it really helps. It gives you maybe a couple more chances at deuce per round. It helps you get out of trouble sometimes. You have to go around stuff and everything, so it definitely helps. But if I can still throw a 350 to 400, I'll be satisfied and I won't be at a disadvantage. I think rolling, that helps.
Rolling is a whole different world.
Rolling is a whole other game.
Well, I know before we wrap it up that our viewers are going to want to see how the U.S. disc golf champion holds his disc when he's driving. Can you show us?
Oh, sure, no problem. A little bit of a modified fan, half fan or something like that. Pretty much squeeze. The real contact is with the pinky, and I squeeze a lot through the thumb and the forefinger there. I use the tape. A lot of people ask about the tape and they think, does it give me an advantage or something like that? Do I extra snap, or squeeze harder, whatever the case is. I just found when I was playing so much as a kid, riding my bike down to the course and playing 10 rounds a day, that I would get blisters and calluses and stuff on my hands from playing. And every once in a while, you'd rip it open or it would get cracked from being dry or something like that. And you're screwed for a couple days worth or even 2 or 3 weeks worth of playing, you'd be in pain the whole time. So I put the tape on my finger. I don't get the calluser anymore. So I never, have any blood or anything happen there. And I've never really had problems with my hands opening up or anything. So I feel naked now with it. If I'm just goofing around with somebody, I decide to start playing some catch or something, I don't have it on there. It feels weird, right. But it's something I can deal with,
Now your grip, would you recommend that for a newer player?
Definitely. A lot of new players start out and they're pretty loose and they're pretty open, where that's, some pros do that as well. It's difficult to be accurate that way. So you want to make sure you get that finger underneath, index finger underneath. It really helps you get more snap. The further you want to throw, of course, you want to try and grip it a little bit firmer. You don't want to really overly squeeze it, but if you're trying to throw further, get that snap on the disc. Got to have something tight. Just like anything else, you make changes to your grip or your stance, your follow through. You're not going to be so good at first. It's going to take some time getting used to it. So just remember, if you're doing some changing, you're working on your game, it's going to come. You're working on it, something positive is going to happen. So just keep working on it.
He's U.S. Disc Golf champion Barry Schultz. Barry, thanks for spending some time with us, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.